And welcome back, everyone. It's the week of who would what? It's not the week of who. It's the week of what if. I'm just doing the who would win. It's because I'm pre-recording it on Sunday that I got a little confused. But from Talon, we have the question of who wins in a fight: Selene from the Underworld series versus Alice from the Resident Evil series. To me, this I wouldn't say this should have gone into the speed round. Looking at it in hindsight, you could make an argument for it, but I actually feel like there's a very clear-cut winner. Selene obviously is a death dealer. She's a vampire. I can't remember which clan she was part of. But she ultimately became not a hybrid, but she drank blood from, I believe, one of the original brothers, which gave her the ability, which boosted her physicality greatly, but also made her immune to sunlight. Later on, she also learned ability of super speed. I think it was in the 5th Underworld movie. And she, as a death dealer, she's an exceptional assassin, warrior, fighter, skilled pretty much every weapon you could think of. She's particularly very agile as well. That is one of the things that she's not like, she's physically stronger than the average human by a great margin, but like her like acrobatic capabilities were actually very top notch. Yeah, as a vampire, she originally was weak to sunlight, but now she's immune to it, so she really doesn't have a clear-cut weakness. Theoretically, you could still basically stab her through the heart, destroy her heart, and she's dead. Theoretically. But because she also has one of the original brothers' blood, she can actually resurrect people, too, which is pretty cool. Alice is the main protagonist of the Resident Evil movie franchise. Now, I can't recall. I think she is enhanced to a certain degree. Alice. I never watched a lot of the Resident Evil. I think I saw Resident Evil Extinction, and that was it. But she's also pretty physically capable. I believe she is stronger than a normal person as well. Both are very ruthless. She's skilled with just about any weapon you can think of. Again, very agile. She has to go up against, instead of vampires and werewolves, giant super soldier zombies and zombie dogs and all that shit. Wesker. Because the T-virus is out there. Now, for me, this, when looking at it and what I remembered from the characters and what I remember looking up, I think there is a clear edge in this fight. And I'm not saying it's a definitive win for said person, but there's a clear edge in the fight. And because Alice, at least within the movies, struggles against physically superior foes. She's not saying she can't beat him, but she is, because she, while enhanced, is not enhanced like a Captain America per se or anything like that. She's a crack shot, everything like that, but she struggles against physically superior foes. She's not really better than Wesker, really, when he shows up in those movies. He's like still superior, much faster than her, and she only has so much ability. Only so much skill and physicality. In truth, Selene physically, I think, just completely outmatches Selene, particularly on the speed front. In the speed front, there's nothing she can do against her. Alice can do against Selene. Physically, they are a bit more even, but the problem here is that unlike, say, unlike someone like a giant, the Nemesis or something like that, we've actually seen Alice fight physically superior foes. What was it? Michelle Rodriguez's character. Which film was that? The third one? When they're fighting on like the tundra and ultimately Rodriguez gets drowned and attacked by the zombies or whatever. She nearly kills Alice with just a straight shot. Like one shot nearly breaks her sternum. And even then she cracked it. And Selene is, I'd say, an equivalent of that. So, like I said, Alice seems to struggle against physically superior foes. Like, normal zombies are fine because they don't really think. They don't have the intelligence to do much. Which is really how Alice with an enhanced physicality can beat them, shoot them, destroy them, all that. When she goes against individuals with comparable intelligence and who are at least physically her equal or more so, and just as skilled, she seems to struggle a lot more, and Selene kind of fits that mold to a T. She's physically at least equal to Selene, if not stronger, physically-wise, strength-wise. Durability-wise, she can take arguably a lot more punishment being a vampire and capable of regenerating. She's far faster. She's gonna blitz Selene a lot. This is more. She's definitely more of an equivalent to a Wesker than the Michelle Rodriguez character. Not to mention, she's just as skilled with any weapon she gets her hand on as Alice is, and she's got a lot more years of experience under her belt, being a vampire and being semi-immortal, more or less. Now, is there a way for Selene to win? Well, yes, there is. She theoretically could outsmart her. She's not going to be able to, like, just trick her into sunlight. That's not going to work. She'd also have to figure out she's a vampire, too, for that to work, even in theory. But, in theory, for example, if Selene, like, say, ends up stabbing, like, say, her arm through Alice's gut, Alice could be like, it's like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. Just suddenly grabs her by the ear and like, just unloads the entire hand cannon in her. Or throws an explosive on her and blows her up. In theory, that scenario can play out and she'd win. She might be mortally wounded or just severely wounded, but she could win that way. But if we're talking about straight fight with straight arsenals, all that, I would say Alice also tends to carry more blades than Selene does, so there's that. Though I imagine Selene could disarm her and then they'd go blade to blade. And again, speed-wise, she'd just start cutting Alice up. I would have to go with Selene in this. Selene is been around longer, been fighting longer, and it's just physically. Again, I keep going back to that, but that speed is important because she's like, even by vampire standards, she's like the Flash, or at least Quicksilver. She's that fast now. I would have to go with Selene. She just holds too many edges in her category. I'm not saying Alice would lose every time. I think there'd be a percentage of times Alice definitely could win, because she's definitely dealt with enough super soldiers to at least combat Alice or Selene. But the problem simply just comes down to, is that enough? And I don't think it is, personally. So, yeah, and again, when you're dealing with someone who's just as intelligent, if not more strategic and intelligent than you are, and has their, let's call it humanity, intact, that is also difficult to deal with. So, yeah, I'd go with Selene, but let me know what you think. Do you think Alice could straight out beat Selene, or do you think Selene beats Alice? Until then, let me know. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.